Welcome to Your Future, Your Way, where we explore the many ways to reach your academic and professional goals. Whether you are a recent grad, considering career advancement, or even changing careers, this podcast is for you. There is more than one way to do higher education. This is Your Future, Your Way. My name is Alyssa Olick, Assistant Dean for Professional Degrees and Certificates, which is part of the professional programs at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We are excited to share information, resources, and most importantly, stories from current and former students.
Before we start, we want you to know that the views, information, or opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of the Division of Continuing Studies, the University of Wisconsin-Madison, or the Board of Regents.
UW-Madison's top-ranked College of Engineering offers a variety of accelerated and online programs to meet your academic and professional goals. In this episode, Heather Smith, Director of Graduate Programs with Interdisciplinary Professional Programs, will give us a quick overview of the diverse online engineering programs available at UW-Madison. Joining her is Steve North, a program alumnus and chief engineer, as well as associate director at Collins Aerospace. Steve will talk about his decision to enroll in the Engineering Management Master's Program and how he has effectively applied what he learned to his work and how he encourages others to expand their leadership skills. Let's turn it over to Heather and Steve.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Smith. I'm the Director of the Graduate Programs for the Interdisciplinary Professional Programs, which we call Interpro for short because it's quite a mouthful. I'm also the Program Director for the Engineering Management MS Program, which is MEM for short, and I teach courses in international engineering and in technical leadership. Joining me today is our guest, Steve North. Steve, would you like to say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. I'm Steve North. I started the Engineering Management Master's Program in 2018. I graduated in 2020. I'm now a Chief Engineer and Associate Director at Collins Aerospace. Happy to be here today.
Welcome, Steve. I'm excited to talk to you because you are both an alum, but I also get a lot of students from you as well. So I look forward to hearing a little bit more from you about that. First, though, I do want to give a quick overview of the online engineering graduate programs that we offer here at UW-Madison. We offer focuses in engineering management, manufacturing systems engineering, polymers engineering, sustainable systems engineering, data analytics, and power engineering. These programs are master's degrees, but we also have graduate capstone certificates, which are smaller steps into these programs. Many of our students are working full-time, so they are attaining these degrees while they still have a full-time job. So we focus on the needs of those type of students. We have, for instance, our web conferences in the evening so that they can be attended after work. Many of our programs have projects built into the classes that they can do at their workplace. And of course, we have them do the programs at a slower pace so that they can accomplish it while still going to work full time. As you can imagine, many of our students are buying a house, getting married, maybe having kids, moving into a brand new role. And that can make it challenging to do a graduate degree at the same time. And that's a real benefit of doing an online degree. Steve, I think, has faced some of these challenges. And so we're going to talk to Steve about what his experience was like as a student. Steve, tell us a little bit about how it was for you.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. So overall, it was a fantastic experience. It was something that required some serious commitment in order to be successful. But overall, the flexibility that was offered throughout the engineering management degree from the professors, the understanding from my fellow students who were also professionals going to work was incredible. Just a lot of support both ways. Ultimately, it turned into a bit more of a challenge for me personally because I ended up taking an international assignment while I was completing the degree and working with my professors to understand I'm on a time zone that's 10 hours off from when Madison is now. How do we work together to accomplish that? Success for myself in the degree was met with nothing but it was an open arms type engagement. They were very understanding. So lots of work, but it was one of those, as the saying goes, you get what you put into it. And that's the truth of it.
So, what was it that made you take the leap into going after your master's degree?
So I was at a stage in my career where I was a technical lead for one of our programs. And as I looked forward, I was trying to understand really what's the next step for me? How do I grow as an individual in my career? Because there's a lot of career left for me. And I really started to think through, do I want to just go purely technical, become a highly technical engineer? Or do I want to do more of a cross-functional leadership type role? And as I thought through more, that was where I wanted to go. I wanted to have a stronger engagement across the corporation, leading technical teams. And that was when I decided it was time to build on some skills that I didn't have previously.
What made you choose the engineering management program to take that next step?
It was really a breakdown of how do I lead technical teams, specifically within an organization of engineers. We're a very strong engineering company. And so I needed to understand what it takes to communicate across the different functions of engineering. I had already had some of that, as a technical lead. But when you start looking at it across the business perspective of how do you build and shape teams towards the directive of making a successful business, that was why I really started to gear myself towards engineering management. And the UW engineering management degree, as I look through the curriculum, seemed to have everything that I needed as far as hard and soft skills to develop.
That's great to hear. Our program here, the University of Wisconsin-Madison online engineering programs, are specifically designed for working professionals. And so when you're doing this program, it really is about balancing the work, your life, school, family, all of those pieces. So what were some of the things that you had to do to balance all these pieces that were going on for you?
For myself, it was doing a good job of communicating the commitment that I needed to make to this degree. So I set aside 2 nights a week to really focus on getting my work done and then portions of the weekend. So communicating that out to my friends and family so that way they were aware that this is the time I need to be successful. And really taking a structured approach to studying. The professors, they understand that they're working with professionals. And the curriculum and the syllabus that's provided for each class was so detailed that it really helped me look ahead, months in advance to plan out, this is when I have a major assignment due. This is what I understand the work scope to be as I look forward, especially when I ended up taking the overseas assignment. I could really plan ahead, like, oh, okay, all of a sudden I have a time zone change during this week of travel. How do I go ahead and get my work done in advance? So just having a real structured approach helped me personally.
This episode of Your Future, Your Way comes from UW-Madison Professional Programs, offering over 90 graduate-level programs including online and evening and weekend options for working adults. For more details, visit us at go.wisc.edu/pro.
How much help was needed from your family, your friends, your colleagues at work for you to be successful in this program?
Overall, it was more of a level of understanding that I needed to go and deep dive. Where I found the majority of my help coming from was actually my peers within the cohort at the time. So understanding how do I get this done and just having that good conversation with my peers, they were in similar situations. So talking that through with them was helpful to me. My actual work colleagues that had gone through the program previously, I'd spoke with them from time to time on what it takes to be successful. Fortunately, I have some good mentors and role models who had previously gone through the course. They were able to give me good insight into what I had ahead of me. So overall, my friends and family didn't have to do a whole lot. I just put my head down and got the degree done. But my coworkers and peers really helped me from time to time as I needed it.
Wonderful. So since you graduated from this program, how has your career changed?
Since I graduated, my career has grown kind of exponentially. 2 major promotions. I stepped into management and then I got a promotion within the management chain. As a chief engineer, I oversee one of our large commercial programs. So it's a huge responsibility with cross-functional teams across multiple continents. So lots of work, and the engineering management skill set, really, I draw on that every single day. From leading technical teams cross-functionally, but also helping my individual contributors as a manager, helping them grow. All skills that I either learned initially through the degree or refined moving forward. I attribute my success so far directly to attaining this degree. There's no doubt about it.
Is there any specific examples you can give us of something you learned in the program that really helped you be successful in your role?
Sure. In our project management class, we learned about pull planning, and it was actually part of our capstone project. And the capstone in itself, I think, is just such an incredible piece of the degree. You have to immerse yourself within a project for your company or convince your team that's doing the capstone with you to be involved. So I remember one of my colleagues, we were together, doing this massive pull planning exercise on my living room wall for a homework assignment. We had stretched out this 12-foot paper and sticky notes all across, trying to understand how do we implement this design. And it was such a massive, complex project. They taught us that in the class. And so at first I thought, well, that's kind of silly. I'm going to sit up there with sticky notes and think it through. But then as I thought about it, it's like, well, yeah, this is our end target. This is what we need. I think we ended up having almost 300 individual tasks stretched across 3 years that we needed to really think through and lay flat. That was a great exercise. And now as I'm looking towards an aircraft development that I have in front of me, I'm doing the same thing, only with my cross-functional teams internally. And I get some of the initial looks as well, like that seems kind of silly, but then you think through and you actually start doing it and engaging as a team, and the ideas start flowing. We start understanding dependencies a little bit better. So initially a homework assignment I thought that was kind of non-value added turned out to be an incredibly good skill to have. And there's a lot of those little nuggets of knowledge that you get throughout the degree that you don't think is maybe as valuable as you see when you're going through the degree. But once you get into a management or a leadership position and you start to pull those tools from your toolbox, you'll be extremely thankful that you have those and that you had the time to develop them in a safe environment.
That's a great example. I think another thing that's really telling is what you choose to teach your colleagues who don't have the opportunity to go through the program. Is there anything you learned in this program that you then went and taught your colleagues so they could have that skill as well?
I think as I discuss how we lead people within the organization, I've had good conversations with my management peers on how we should approach certain discussions. Most recently, return to work as we went through the pandemic. There was a lot of very sensitive conversations that we had to have as people leaders, approaching it with a holistic mindset and making sure that the individual understands why we need to make these decisions as a business, really helping them understand the why, because on the surface, from time to time, it just looks like corporation making a decision. And so as we flow that information down through our individual contributors and helping them see the big picture, that's a skill that I did refine throughout the degree and something that I've been able to teach my peers, in management.
Thank you, Steve, for sharing your journey and what you've learned from the Engineering Management Master's Program. And a special thanks to Heather for giving us an overview of the online engineering programs here at UW-Madison. We'll hear from them again in our next episode, where Steve and Heather discuss how you can prepare yourself for a conversation with your manager and convince them to invest in your education and career growth. Join us next time to learn more about professional programs at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Learn how to shape your future your way.